Now, one day Vin and Birgit are walking around England when they happen to stop to talk to a man who's painting a house. As they get talking, they ask him, "Hey, do you know anybody in Germany?" And he says, "Oh, yeah, I know this guy in Germany. He's really successful there." Months later, when I finally get to Germany, I go from city to city, meeting with people in hotel lobby after hotel lobby, Hamburg, Dusseldorf, Cologne, Heidelberg, Munich, Frankfurt. I don't know a thing about Germany, and I don't speak a word of German. But Vin and the house painter's friend go with me, side by side, the whole time translating and helping me out, showing me around. At first, I'll be speaking to a group. Then Vin will translate. Then I'll say something else. Then he'll translate. But soon something odd starts happening. I'll say something and then he takes off in rapid fire German and talks for 5 minutes straight before coming up for air. He doesn't need me to say anything else. He's doing fine without me. By the time I left Frankfurt, we had launched Germany, and today, those two men are both multi-millionaires with sales forces in all of Europe. Now, here's the question. I want to ask you, how did I plan that? Maybe it was like this. One day I was sitting on my bed, putting on my socks, and mumbling to myself, now how can I build a huge European sales force? I thought about that for a while, then slapped my forehead and said, I got it. All I need to do is turn on the TV. They'll probably be talking about a franchise show, and if I go to the franchise show, chances are really good that I'll be stuck in a corner with some guy called the Bear Man, who will take everyone's attention off me so I won't have any success handing out my little brochures, which will make me figure out that what I should say to people is something like, hey, would you be interested in some propaganda? And if I do that, not only will I hand out all 300 of my little packages, but I'll also get about 20 names, and one of those names will be a doctor from Albuquerque who won't really be that interested at first. But even though it could take me, about 3 weeks of calling him, maybe the doctor will finally show up when I'm teaching people about how to ask everyone if they know any Germans. And this doctor will ask his next door neighbor one day while he's cutting his grass, and it's a good thing it won't be raining that day, because then this carefully laid plan won't work if he happens to know any Germans, and he will. He'll know this one person who not only lives in Germany, but happens to be coming over to Miami at the same time I'm going over there, which will work really well, because even though he'll go back to Germany all excited about opening up there, if this plan works just right, then that won't happen, because it'll turn out that the company isn't ready to open up in Germany yet, after all. And that'll be just perfect, because then I'll tell this guy, hey, why don't you go over to England instead for a few months? Which my guess is he'll probably go ahead and do, maybe even renting a flat with his wife, which will be just perfect, just like I planned it. Because one day when they're walking, they'll walk right past this house, which will be timed just right, because, as luck would have it, it won't be raining on that day either. So they'll stop and strike up a conversation with this house painter, which is perfect, because I will have trained them to ask, hey, do you know any Germans? So they'll ask that question, and if this all goes just according to my plan, then the house painter won't even have to stop and think about it, because he'll just say, yes, actually, I do know a fellow in Germany, and in fact, he's quite a successful bloke over there, and that'll be perfect too, because when I do finally get over there to Hamburg, even though it will look like I don't have the slightest clue about what I am trying to accomplish in Germany, the truth is that this guy who met me in Miami, the franchise show doctor's next door neighbor's friend, and the successful guy in Germany, the guy that the Miami guy's neighborhood house painter knows, will meet me in the hotel and travel with me as my translators. And because they'll be translating for me, they'll understand the business better than anyone else I talk to by the end of my visit, and you know it worked. A simple plan, you could even say it was so simple it looked stupid. But if you start with a plan, and you practice those simple daily disciplines, one plan leads to the next plan, leads to the next plan. Can you imagine how many times this ridiculously unlikely chain of events could have fallen apart. Twice, an innocuous afternoon rain shower would have scuttled it. Why didn't it? Because we started with a plan, and then allowed the slight edge to work. Until one is committed, there is always hesitancy. The chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves to move. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. I have learned a great respect for one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do, or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. W.H. Murray, The Second Himalayan Expedition, a whole stream of events, which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. That strikes me as a very good description of how our German sales force came into being. Don't try to figure out the whole race. Just figure out where to put your foot for the starting line. Just start. The result looks incredibly complex, but it's not. It never is. It's always the simple little things that take you there. Everything you do, every decision you make, is either building your dream or building someone else's dream. Every single thing you do is either leading you away from the masses or leading you away with the masses. Every single thing you do is a slight edge decision. Our strategy for opening Germany seemed so ridiculously simple. What made the difference was that we did it every day. Did we have success in Germany after one day, 1 week, even 1 month? Of course not. We had nothing, just a few names. And suddenly, one day, those few names had blanketed Europe with a financial empire. I started dreaming big, real big, real big. It was exciting. I thought about a ranch in Montana in the mountains, backing up to thousands of Forest Service. Acres with trees, rivers, and streams running through the property. I would have horses, of course, and lots of room for all my friends and family to visit and enjoy. I would build a convention center on the property so I could have retreats for women and hold family reunions right there at the ranch. Of course, the reality of my living conditions at the time of that dream was pretty stark in comparison, but I didn't pay attention to where I was at that time. Instead, I focused 100% on where I was going to be in 5 to 10 years. I looked at my goals every day and envisioned myself attaining them. For years, I pored over floor plans for my dream home, and all through those years of planning and dreaming for the future, I kept working on my business steadily and with intensity. Then, you guessed it, one day, I was taking a Sunday afternoon drive to look at the aspen trees turning gold in the fall, and literally drove up to my dream place. It was in the middle of the national forest, with lots of trees and a stream running beside it, and right on the fence post by the gate was a for sale by owner's sign. I drove up the hill and knocked on the door, and as they say, the rest is history. Within 30 days, I had purchased a beautiful 80-acre property that looked exactly like what I had been envisioning for over 10 years. I spent a year renovating the house to get it exactly like all the pictures I had collected over the years. A lot of my friends and family wondered, how did she do it? I can tell you exactly how it was done, by applying the slight edge in every part of my life. From my beliefs, philosophies, actions, and disciplines, every single day. I changed language from can't, maybe, don't know, to can, sure, I will figure it out. I changed my thought pattern, and when faced with disappointment or so-called failure, I asked myself, what did you learn? The slight edge philosophy is life-altering, and now I am passing it on. I am teaching my children and grandchildren the same principles so they can be as blessed as I have been. I hope you dream big and go for your dreams with your whole heart. If you will consistently apply the slight edge in every decision you make, you will realize them very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Truly, the fact that you stayed until the end of this video says something important about you. It shows that you care, that you're hungry, that somewhere deep inside, you believe you're meant for more, and you're ready to take the small steps to get there.